All right, guys. Today, I want to talk about bodybuilding versus bodybuilding. Now, what's the difference? So, let's come up with a definition. Bodybuilding is a competitive sport based upon sculpting a physique in a manner that will adhere to very specific judging criteria: symmetry, muscularity, size, conditioning. Essentially, bodybuilding, the sport, is building a physique in a manner that creates an aesthetically pleasing view for the era in which it's being seen. Now, by that, if we go back in time to, let's say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the most famous bodybuilder of all time, if we look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's body as compared to, we'll say, Lee Haney's body, Lee Haney, I believe, was a six or seven time Mr. Olympia. So Arnold was, my memory is a little off. I believe Arnold was a 6-time Mr. Olympia. I believe Haney was a 7-time Mr. Olympia. We had Dorian Yates, who then was dramatically different in physique and musculature to Lee Haney. And Yates was a 6-time Mr. Olympia. And then we had the era of Ronnie Coleman, who was an 8-time Mr. Olympia. I believe Ronnie Coleman has the largest running Olympia win streak. Then we have a Jay Cutler, a 4-time Mr. Olympia. And we have Phil Heath, the reigning 5 times Mr. Olympia. Those physiques are dramatically different from each other. By comparison, Haney was symmetrical like Arnold, but much more muscularity and definition, deeper conditioning. Yates came through and just completely changed the game with that sheer size and grainy definition and muscularity. And then we had Ronnie Coleman come through, who had at one point a symmetrical physique, but outdid Yates with the massive size, and was able at times in his career to really bring in that very dry muscularity. And I could go on and on. Now, what's the difference here? So when we talk about bodybuilding, it's essentially building a physique simply for the visual. How does that body look when standing on stage? That's the sport of bodybuilding. And then we talk about bodybuilding, or building your body. Now, that's a different approach to physical fitness or physique enhancement. And that's something that we focus on here through the DOLCE Diet and Fitness Center. We focus on building your body in a functional manner. So you do have certain attributes of a physique competitor, but we're not eliminating the functionality of the human physicality. So we want to be able to run and jump and climb. We want to be able to perform body weight high endurance exercises. We want to be able to perform absolute feats of strength, increase force production. And we want to have that nice, lean physique, ripped abs and bulging pecs and veiny biceps and all those things. Some of us. So again, I want to go back to the differences. The pursuit of bodybuilding as a sport, dare I say, is not an ideal pursuit when it comes to health and fitness. Now, I say this as a friend of some of the top bodybuilders in the world. I call Flex Lewis, the reigning 5-time Mr. Olympia at 212 pounds, I call him a friend. I call Stan the Rhino Efferding, who is the world's strongest professional bodybuilder. He's an IFBB pro. He's also a record-setting powerlifter. I call Flex Wheeler, who could have the most perfect physique ever to step on a bodybuilding stage. I call them friends, and I respect what they do and the amount of sacrifice and effort they put into their sport. is unparalleled, probably even by mixed martial artists, by professional fighters, don't have the same dedication as the gentleman I just mentioned. The sacrifice that they go through to present those otherworldly physiques is just unreal. But for the average person listening to this, is that ideal for you? Should you spend so much time and focus to try and craft a Flex Wheeler-like physique? And what do you get from that? What is the payoff? Is it worth it? Would your time be spent maybe getting 80% of your genetic capacity, because that's really what we're talking about when it comes to elite bodybuilding as a sport. There's a genetic capacity. I myself am not genetically equipped to be a bodybuilder. I don't have pleasing aesthetics. I don't have long, full muscle bellies. I don't have small little joints. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm a strong guy. I'm a muscular guy. But I look ridiculous on a bodybuilding stage, even in great condition. I'm not that guy. I don't have the genetics for it. Most people don't. I mean, we're talking about a percentage of a percent actually have the genetics to do moderately well as a professional bodybuilder. And even those that do well as bodybuilders are considered amongst the best bodybuilders in the world. It's a hard grind for them to make an income. There's been stories, Louis Marco spoke recently, Dave Palumbo spoke recently, about how difficult it is for elite bodybuilders, Mr. Olympia top 10s, that they're unable to pay their bills, their mortgages, their car payments, put food on the table. True, bodybuilding is a very expensive, selfish sport. But that being said, if you're taking such risks, I mean, we won't even talk about the performance-enhancing drugs that go into that, but we could point to other sports, probably not to the same level, but possibly when we, endurance cycling or the NFL, quite possibly, other sports have, PEDs, and even mixed martial arts, there's PEDs. So the risk to reward, and that's really what I want to distill this down to. Are you bodybuilding or are you building your body? Are you bodybuilding? I know it's just a play on words. It makes for a cool YouTube title. But I want you to start focusing more on building your body. Not so much for the intention of stepping on stage and the approval of the 9 judges judging you subjectively, objectively. We could debate whether or not how that goes on. But what is it for you? What drives you to the gym? What is it about? We want to build our bodies. We want to get stronger. We want to get better. We want to have more functionality. We want to have greater levels of performance. We want to increase our longevity. We want to decrease our risk of injury. We want to balance our muscular imbalances. We want to create the best possible physique for ourselves. That should be the goal. It shouldn't be trying to build a physique that other people applaud. It should be building a physique that you applaud. A physique that conforms to your very specific ideal of how you should look, but also of what you should do. Now, to me, if you can't go on a brisk walk for at least 60 minutes, I mean, we're talking 3.5 to 4 miles an hour pace, for at least 60 minutes, you got some problems. You have some health problems. You have some longevity issues you need to consider. No matter how big you are, how muscular you are, if you can't walk out your door and go for a good, hard 60-minute push, you got some issues year-round without heaving and wheezing. We got to focus on the cardiorespiratory system. When we talk about building muscle, that's awesome. With our geriatric clients, our golden agers, we're training them to build muscle, to stay anabolic, to have a positive impact on the body's growth and repair mechanisms. We're trying to switch off the catabolic cue and turn on the anabolic cue, no matter what age and stage of life. It's all about anabolism. And that's what we should be doing. So you should be setting PRs in the gym with perfect form. You should be charting and setting goals and smashing them. You should be programming and periodizing your training program. You should have very strict guidelines that you adhere to along the way. But what you shouldn't do, you shouldn't identify success through the applause of other people. It should only be through the satisfaction that you've had in building your physique. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about what makes you happy, what's best for you. So I really want to focus on bodybuilding. I appreciate the sport of bodybuilding. I watch the sport of bodybuilding. I've gone to Mr. Olympias and Night of Champions. I enjoy watching that from the spectacle of it. I enjoy supporting Flex Lewis, who's out there competing today, looking for his sixth Olympia title. And I'll support and cheer for him all the way through. But knowing that the vast majority of YouTubers out there, the vast majority of the clients that come through our office, they're not destined for the stage, so they shouldn't train as if they will be. They shouldn't be following the muscle routines in popular magazines. They should be focused on more functional training. They should be focused on body building for long-term health and fitness. That's the moral of this video. Build your body for the long term. Don't take short risks. Don't take shortcuts. Don't pollute your body in a manner that will take years of vitality and longevity away from you for some short-term gain of applause by people that do not care about you. A little espresso. Now, how do we do this? We'll be covering this in many videos. You can go back 2 videos ago, What Are You Going to Do?, where I break down the general overview of a very simple yet effective full body training program. It's geared for anyone from novice through advanced, but knowing that the high level, intermediate into advanced will be modifying what I had said. So YouTube is basically for the general fitness enthusiast, right? You out there, you're probably might not be, some of you are, at the very advanced stage. We'll talk about advanced training also. So go back and watch the video, What Are You Going to Do?, where I kind of break down for you a very good overlay of a 3-day training split, a full body functional workout. We'll be talking more about that style of training and other styles of training, from powerlifting to Olympic lifting to metabolic conditioning, what we do with our CrossFit athletes, how we train our professional mixed martial artists. We just had Galen Rupp win the bronze medal for the United States in the marathon. I do want to break down how we actually trained him to increase his power to kilogram ratio, allowing him to win the bronze medal in his 3rd ever marathon in his entire life. Really cool stuff. We train Olympic level cyclists and wrestlers. So we're going to break down, and we do work with physique athletes also. So we're going to break all that down for you as we go. If you could, leave comments below. Let me know what you want to hear. What specific questions do you have? What type of programming are you on right now? What do you want to see in the future? What plateau or challenge have you experienced? Of course, we're experts in nutrition. We want to talk about nutrition, and we will be talking about nutrition. So make sure you leave comments below. Definitely subscribe to this channel, and then like the video. If you like the video, just click that little thumbs up and like the video. If you don't like the video, well, screw you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, we're going to be throwing a lot more content up, but you're going to drive the content. Whatever you want to hear is what we're going to talk about, and I look forward to talking to you. Boom.